Good evening. This is Common Sense, and I'm William Ferguson. I was thinking about the upcoming election, the midterm, and let's say we just wipe the slate clean and begin from the beginning so that everybody can have what they want. Okay? But you can't. That's the problem. If everybody has what they want, nothing that we need will be provided. So when we consider electing a liberal or a conservative into Washington as a senator or a representative, what kind of attitude do they have? What do we want them to do for us? Do we want them to provide the things that we need? If we don't have roads, no transportation, how do we get the food from the field to the grocery store? Okay, so we already have that in the budget. That's taken care of. But think about this. The less the government spends, the less they tax the people. And the less they tax the people, the more money you have in your pockets. So is spending money on Planned Parenthood, does that keep money in your pocket? Or is that just frivolously spending money literally on killing innocent unborn children? Doesn't that sound a little ridiculous? Taxpayers are spending money to kill unborn children? Really? How about marijuana laws? Just because it's legal, that doesn't make it right. So, what happens when somebody smokes marijuana? I have smoked marijuana, and it makes you slow. Makes you a little lethargic, mellow. At times you really want to do stuff, but most of the time you just sit, be lazy, and eat munchies. Oh, they can tax it? Yes. For what purpose? And they used to say that marijuana was a gateway drug. But somewhere along the line, that idea was changed. It's funny, because San Francisco is now full of heroin addicts. Feces and urine. That just comes with the territory. But California was always a liberal state with marijuana. Because when I was there, you could get marijuana called Orange County. And they grew it in Orange County. So California was always liberal with marijuana as far as I was concerned. So is it good to legalize marijuana? What's next? OxyContin? Other opioids? Heroin? Maybe? How about cocaine? Speed? Crack? Methamphetamines? And that's the problem. We do a little of this, and you become accustomed to it. You become accustomed to it, and then you become accustomed to allowing the government to set moral standards when they don't really follow a true moral standard. killing is immoral. They say it's okay as long as it's in the womb, it's not a child. I hate to tell you this, but life begins at conception. Do we all agree that each of us has a spirit, an individual spirit? So, wouldn't the spirit of the child be living at the point of conception? Or is that just whatever? We don't know. That's an answer that will get you nowhere, but everywhere. If you say you don't know when life begins, kill everything. And I've said, if you want to legalize abortion because you don't want it, why can't you walk up to somebody on the street with a pistol, blow the back of their head off? They didn't feel it. You didn't want the person. What's the difference? That's the point. Pornography is another thing. I've been to countries to where sex is wide open everywhere. And they were third world countries. And I've seen that these impoverished countries that are run by dictators that take everything from the people, they do anything and everything they can to make money, and they don't care if they disrespect their own bodies to make the money, because they have to live. So, is that what we want? To be a third world country? I believe that if Hillary Clinton were elected, we would be well on our way to being a third world country. Let in all these people from third world countries. That way, we become accustomed to living with people from third world countries. And when we do become third world country, we're already used to it. These people teach us how to do it. Take away the guns. Why take away the guns? Why do the Democrat liberals want to take away the guns? And you know, they wouldn't take a gun from their security. You know they wouldn't do that. That's not happening. Because they're smart enough to know that law-abiding citizens would turn in their guns. Criminals would not. So they would never get rid of every last weapon, a firearm, in this country. It wouldn't happen. So why not keep the firearms to protect ourselves? Sounds good to me. And so, who gets elected? If we elect Republicans to replace Democrats, the president's agenda moves forward. And we keep our freedoms. We keep more of our money. We can build on what we have, individually and as a country. So, again, who do we vote for? How do we want this country to be in, say, the next 2 to 6 years? A third world country to where everybody is impoverished? You have multiple families living in single family houses just to make enough money to feed themselves? Or even worse, having your children go to the local landfill to sort through the trash so they can bring home something edible, even if it's a rat. Third world countries, they do that. And if you've never been to a third world country, you have no idea the freedoms that we enjoy in this country. You have no idea how rich we really are. And letting the Democrat liberals take over and take everything from us, we could lose everything. Prosperity, freedom, the free will to find our own doctors, our own insurance, our own house. To be squeezed is what the liberals want. President Trump wants us to have freedom, prosperity, safety, security. He wants us to be a sovereign country, able to defend ourselves, able to energize ourselves, being independent from other countries for our energy. The liberals don't want that. How do you know? Because they were totally against the Keystone Pipeline. And that Keystone Pipeline was energy. They don't want that. They want to control. They want to take everything from everybody so that they can tell you what to do, when to do, and how to do it. They want to take away moral values. They even want to take away the peace that we enjoy in this country. Look at Antifa. Look at all these riots and all of the rhetoric, especially that Maxine Waters spews from her sewer hole. If they're saying it, that's what they want. They don't have any, they don't even have morals. They just have these twisted ideas of, we're man, we can do anything we want. No. Man has to have leadership. And within that leadership, there has to be a moral standard. If we don't have a moral standard, we go to anarchy, chaos. Best man wins. Dog eat dog. And that gets sad. That's when it really gets sad. And look at the cities and the states that are run by liberals. Look at what's happening there. Do you want the entire country to be like that? With no safe place for anybody at all? It's ridiculous that these people, and especially, I've noticed this especially in the Kavanaugh hearings, that the liberals just, they don't want him. And my guess is because he's moral. He lives by a moral standard. And he believes that the Constitution, as it is, not interpreted in some weird way, but as it is a functioning document. And by following that document in this country, we enjoy many freedoms. Many freedoms. Because you can't have the government coming into your house. It's part of the Bill of Rights. You're allowed to protect yourself from the enemy in your own house by the possession of firearms. So, do we want to keep our freedoms, or do we want to become a third world country? Seriously, that's what you have to think about when you vote. I know who I'm voting for. And in the state of Texas, there are some people in Washington, D.C. that really need to be gotten rid of. And I just pray that the state of Texas and the entire country will pay attention to what's going on. If you look at the corruption that was going on in the Obama administration, the Democrats, I'm sure, would carry that on if they get elected into office. I don't want that. I don't want to be restricted in everything that I do. I want to be able to speak my mind when my thoughts, I know are correct. Because I live by biblical principles. And loving God gave us the instructions on how to live. He gave us moral values. And by living in those moral values, I live in peace, freedom, joy, serenity, all kinds of things are so right at your fingertips when you live with true moral values. All right, that's all I've got for this evening. Please keep the leadership of this country in your prayers, that they will guide this country by following the morals that God has set down for us to lead this country to safety, security, peace, prosperity, unity, and so that we keep the freedoms that were given to us by the founding fathers written in the Constitution of the United States. I'm William Ferguson, and this is Common Sense.